All right, I'm going to give you a little help with a problem. It says the U.S. Coast Guard patrol boat leaves Port Cleveland, averages 35 miles an hour for 2 hours on a bearing of 53 degrees, and then 3 hours on a bearing of 143 degrees. So when you're doing a bearing of 53 degrees, you have to understand that it's from due north, and you're going to arc 53 degrees from due north, and you're going to go clockwise. So that's what a bearing means. So that means that this boat is going to go off like that in that direction. This is a 53 degree angle right here. Next, it says that it's going to change direction and change a bearing, and now it's going to change, and from right here we are now going to have to draw another little XY axis so that we can see that we are now going to go 143 degrees from that due north. From this point due north, we're going to go 143 degrees. Well, 90 plus 53 would end up being 143. So I need to make a 53 degree angle here. So that is going to then come down about like this. And this would be 53 degrees here as well, because 90 plus 53 add up to 143. It also said that they went 35 miles an hour for 2 hours. So that's 35 times 2. They went 70 miles. So I'm going to put 70 on that length. And the other one, it's 3 hours. So 35 times 3 is equal to 105. So we're going to put 105 on this length right there. And then they want to know the boat's bearing and distance from Port Cleveland. So what we're really looking for then, in the end, is the distance from Cleveland, which is the starting point, to where we ended up right here. And so we're going to be looking for that D. We also want the bearing, so we're also going to want to find the angle from here all the way down to the green line, that would be where the ship is at the end of what they talked about. Okay, so one of the things that we need to look at is we have some angles that we can figure out. If this is a 53 degree angle here, that means that the angle down here is going to be 37, because 37 and 53 add up to 90. And that means that this angle right here is also going to be 37. If this is 53 here, which I can't really read that, if that's 53 right here, that means that this is also 53 right here. Okay? Now, all that stuff, does it really matter? I don't know. Well, let's take a look and see whether we're going to need any of that stuff or not. So I was just looking at all the different things that we know. All right, so now let's go ahead. The easiest thing to do is to find the distance, because this, you now know right here, is a 37 degree angle right here. I forgot that's the one that we actually need, 37 degrees there. And if this is 53 right here, if that's 53, then you have alternate interior angles. That forms like an N or whatever, so that's going to be also 53 degrees right here. And so if that's 53 and this is 37 right next to it, we have a right angle right here. So now that gives us a right triangle. And that means that we can say that 70 squared plus 105 squared equals the distance squared, because that's the hypotenuse. The distance then will be the root of 70 squared plus 105 squared. And that distance then will come out to be 120 miles. So that was easy. It's just a Pythagorean theorem. You just had to figure out that that was a 90-degree angle. So the next thing you have to do, and the hardest thing to do, is what is the angle? The only thing I'm missing is this angle right in here. Well, how am I going to find that angle? Well, that's not going to be that easy, or is it? Because you have a right triangle here. You have a right triangle right here. And I know two sides of that right triangle, don't I? Well, if I know two sides of that triangle, I can figure out the angles, because if I call this angle right here, if I call that angle theta, that whole angle, the tangent of theta would equal opposite, which is going to be 105, over adjacent, which is 70. So the tangent of 105, tangent of theta is 105 over 70, and to find theta, we just take the inverse tangent of 105 over 70. And if you do that, you come up with 56.3 degrees. Now, I'm going to leave it to you to figure out what the actual bearing is, because remember, the bearing is from due north all the way to this green line. And that's all I'm telling you. For your... Oh, I can tell you this. I'm sorry. I can tell you more because this isn't the problem you're doing. Okay, and yours isn't quite exactly the same. So anyway, to do that, obviously, you would take the 53 degrees that you have right here, and you would add it to the 56.3 degrees here to get that entire angle there. So basically, my bearing is going to be 53 plus 56.3, which comes out to be 109.3 degrees bearing. All right, good luck.